Alright, hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tony. I'm here with my sister Holly, and we are playing Stardew Valley, and I'm going to unmute because, hey Holly, what is the next one about? It is middle versus youngest child. That is about us, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so today Holly and I are going to be talking about what it was like for her being raised as the youngest child versus what it was like for me being raised as the middle child.
Yep.
So, why don't you go first this time, because I always go first.
Okay. Well, as you know, as the youngest child, well, I don't know, because I want to say I was spoiled, but at the same time, my circumstances also made me a little less spoiled.
You were spoiled in the sense that, like, you never had to, like, walk because we carried you everywhere, and, like...
Oh my god, I used to ask, we would walk, like, I don't even know. We would barely walk, and I would be like, I'm tired, will you carry me on your back?
Yeah, like, you were spoiled, like, in that sense, but not necessarily spoiled.
I mean, I was kind of spoiled, though, because even though we didn't have a lot of money, I would, like, on the weekends, I'd be like, Mom, can I have, like, $20 so that I can go walk around Kmart with, my friends? And she'd be like, sure, and just, like, give it to me. Like, I never had to work for it.
That is true. Whereas I had a job pretty much from the minute I turned, like, 12.
Yeah, exactly. You babysat forever, and then you, like, got, like, a job,
Yeah.
What was your first job?
McDonald's.
Oh, yeah, okay. It was. But... yeah, so, I was spoiled in a lot of ways. I know that, because, like, but, okay, so here's the thing. I feel like you guys never told me no when, like, I wanted your attention.
No, we did not.
Like, I was never, I did a really good job of playing by myself. Like, I would play with my toys, and, there were always friends to play with, in the neighborhood, I guess you could call it. And I played outside a lot, but even just like in the house, I was never bored because I could always bug you guys and you never made me go away. Oops, I don't want to give my coffee bean to you. Which is so different from my kids. Like, if they don't want to hang out with each other, they just, like, I don't know. But yeah, I always had attention from somebody, and Mom always, like, gave me money when I wanted money. And I also, because of Mom being, like, kind of, not around that much, I kind of just got spoiled in being able to do whatever I felt like doing. And I did not get good at hearing the word no.
Nope.
That is one thing, like, because, like, that was actually a problem for me once I became, like, a teenager.
Yeah, you became very defiant.
I was very defiant. And, like, I mean, some of that has carried up into me being an adult.
Still kind of defiant sometimes.
I'm very defiant. Like, if you want to tell me how to think about something, or how to, like, do something, or, not to do something, I probably am going to want to do that exact thing because you told me not to. Like, yeah, I was very about, like, getting my way and doing things my way. And I remember, like, once I became a teenager and Mom tried to set rules, it was like it was too late.
Yeah, you were like, no, I'm gonna be a brat, and that's it.
Yeah, I was pretty much like, I'm not sure why you suddenly think you can tell me what to do. But,
right? But this is not how this relationship works, lady.
Yeah,
nice
like, I even ended up dropping out of school. Mom was so, like, she was like, you're not dropping out of school. You are absolutely not. Like, it's not happening. And I was like, then I just won't go. and I'll get kicked out.
Go.
And then I didn't go. But that was, like, even in like elementary school, because well, in elementary school I didn't go because I was being bullied so bad, and
Right.
school gave me extreme anxiety, and I was not okay. um, so I would just not go. I would just miss the bus, but then mom would come pick me up and bring me. So then by the time I was a teenager, I would not go and then I wouldn't answer the phone, or I would not go and I would just go do something else instead and not tell her. Like it
Yeah.
I was a spoiled brat. Like
Yeah.
it was a problem, and I mean, it wasn't all because like I, was the youngest. A lot of it had to do with the fact that I didn't have anyone giving me rules for a lot of my life. So,
Mm-hmm.
but it also was the fact that I was never told no. Like I just never was, and I really had to be humbled as I got older, realizing that like things didn't always go my way, and I had to deal with that.
Yep.
um,
Oh, shit.
yeah, but also, it was so nice. Like I don't fault people who want to have like just only one child, because that's fine. Like there's nothing wrong with only children. Only children can have perfectly happy lives too. But I loved the fact that I had four older sisters, and like I feel like because I was the youngest and all of you, oh yay, construction of a barn, that's exciting. Um I feel like I kind of got like little bits of all of your personalities because I would spend so much time around you guys and like try to like emulate you guys so often. That I just kind of, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I I got a good mix of everybody, and I kind of like that. I kind of like that I got to be the youngest who kind of got the I got to kind of I also feel like I got to kind of watch you guys and kind of like, especially sorry Tracy, but especially Tracy, like like make mistakes or like do things. But like with Tracy, I watched her dating life, and it showed me exactly what I did not want and exactly what
Yep.
to avoid.
What not to do.
Yeah. Um and I think that also when it comes to, not we're not on this topic anymore, but I think also when it comes to anxiety, um watching the fact that like, oh, I found leprechaun shoes. What the heck is that?
Oh, yeah.
um
When the train goes by, right?
no, it was by the train tracks, but I
Yeah.
didn't find them when the train was by.
Well, no, the train
Um
went by yesterday.
oh, okay, gotcha. I must have just not picked those up. Um but I think that also like watching you like with your anxiety and like all of that helped me a lot when I ended up with really bad anxiety, because I kind of watched you come out the other end of it a little bit.
Yep.
So I was like, oh, okay, like this sucks, but I will be okay. And I've seen that. Um,
Yeah, I
so that was
remember when
good.
Heidi had her first panic attack, she called me because she was like, oh my god, what is this and how do I deal with it?
Yeah, she's like, I didn't realize it was so physical. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
Yep, it sure is.
Yes. Yep. But yeah, and like, when it just like, with Heidi, um, it's just like I feel like I just with all of you, I kind of just got to watch you and watch what you guys did, and like kind of pick and choose, like what what was okay, and like
Yep, exactly.
it was. I think that was kind of helpful in being the youngest and getting to watch your older sisters grow up and all that good stuff.
Yep.
Okay, what about you?
Okay, so for me, being the middle child, I kind of feel like it's like the best of both worlds because I have older sisters that could like, not that like they ever sat around and gave me advice, like we didn't talk about dating or boys or anything because, well, I mean, I guess actually that's not true. Me and Heidi did occasionally talk about boys and like dating and stuff when she like came back. But
Yeah.
like when I was at like the prime age for that kind of thing, We were all currently going through a bunch of trauma. But like I had older sisters who, you know, they would like let me go on like road trips, not road trips. It was literally just to like miter and shit. But you know, like if they had to go like at 9 o'clock at night to go get something, I was allowed to go. But then I also had little sisters who, you know, I could like boss around and babysit and, you know, and like, it's weird because me and the older sisters never shared friends. Like, their friends, like, I knew their friends, you know, they would come over, like, once I got older and, like, would smoke pot and stuff, they would smoke pot with me, but only with my sister and, like, brother-in-law there as well. It's not like they were, like, coming over and only hanging out with me. And, like, still to this day, like, some of their friends are my Facebook friends and, you know, people that, like, I talk to and stuff. But they're not people that I have ever hung out with on my own.
Yep.
With the exception maybe of Heidi, because Bobby Joe comes around so much, but Bobby Joe's like family.
Right.
And whereas me and Tracy literally shared friends. And we probably wouldn't have, well, no, we probably would have, because we were both friends with Jennifer, we were both friends with Jasmine, like, we shared friends even before our dad died, because I was going to say it was probably mostly because, like, I had to basically bring her into my friend group when our dad died, because I had to take care of her, essentially. But that's not true, because we shared friends even before that. Yeah. And it's not like Tracy and I are, like, only a year apart or something. We're 3.5 years apart.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a decent size, you know, age gap, but we still manage to sometimes share friends. And like Tracy and I would play with cousins that were like around the same age or like in between our ages.
Yeah, whereas, Jenna was right in between your ages.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas Holly's friends now, like my sisters and I are invited to Holly's friends like weddings and baby showers and the kids' birthday parties and things like that. But when they were little, they were just, you know, Holly's little friends that would come over and, you know, whatever. But, you know, now that we're older, obviously, you know, we're all adults, so the age difference doesn't really matter as much. But, like, it was weird because with Holly, I did not share friends with Holly. With Heather and Heidi, I did not share friends with them. Me and Tracy managed to share most of our friends. Now we don't because, you know, she has questionable taste. But, you know, a lot of the people that have been friends my whole life, my sister would also consider
baby
her friends.
We might have to go to bed and pause this for a second because I think Lyric just woke up.
Uh-oh. Okay.
So.
Okay, I will pause the recording and I will tuck myself into bed.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Okay.
I'll text you when I'm done.
Okay. I'm going to let you guys stay with me for a minute while I go back into bed. But, yeah, like, there's still to this day, like, people that me and my sister Tracy do share as friends. Whereas, my other sisters and I do not share any friends. And it's kind of weird how it worked out that way. And I don't know if that has anything to do with being a middle child. It's just like an interesting dynamic. Alright, I'm going to go to bed and then I'm going to pause my recording and pause our day so that Holly can finish getting her child back to sleep. So, I'll be back. Okay.
Honey?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
What? You can say something. We're not recording it.
Yes, we are.
Oh, sorry. 14 minutes to 14 and a half minutes. Okay.
That was funny. You said that like 2 seconds after I unpaused.
That's funny. Well, hi everybody. Okay, yeah, you can continue on now with what you were saying. Explosion was heard in the night.
Yeah, I think it's another meteorite.
Oh, cool. We can open it.
Yeah.
Can I open this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
But anyway, so you were saying that you shared friends with Tony, or Tony, you are Tony. You shared friends with Tracy.
Yeah.
and that, once my friends got a little older, but, not when you were younger.
Yeah. And even then, like, we didn't really share friends. We just kind of like step in and go to your friends' things because you can.
Yeah. Oh,
But we
you're still kind of friends.
well, I mean, yeah, like I, but I still refer to them as, like, when I'm talking to
My
kids, I
friends.
say, Aunt Holly's friends. Blah,
Yeah,
blah,
yeah.
blah. But anyway, so like, I feel like I kind of had like I know that a lot of middle kids say that they felt like ignored and like borderline neglected. I didn't feel that way. Um, but at the same time, I feel like we have a slightly different situation because of everything that happened in our home life and like our childhood.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is like a normal thing for like middle children or if it's just me, but I tend to be seen as like the more responsible one and like the like
Yeah,
even,
I think that's normally the oldest.
yeah, even mom the other day, when she was with me when I was applying for a place that I want to live. And she literally was like talking to the woman that I was like getting the application from and was like, if you need a character reference, I can be a character reference. She's the most responsible out of all of my children and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, rude to your other children. But like she always tends to, okay, Kat, can you please move? She always tends to have that like mindset when it comes to me. Like I'm and like we've had other family members act like that too. Like I have to be like the spokesperson for the family.
It's
And
true.
I don't know why that is because I'm not the oldest.
No.
And
You're
yeah, and like I know that like they say that the middle child tends to be like the caregiver because they tend to, which you would think that would be the oldest child.
you
Like,
would, right?
there's like a lot of like middle child things that I feel like really should be the oldest child, but on the same token, I kind of get it because like with Heather, yeah, she had to babysit us, but the second like she no longer had to and I was old enough where I could, she was like, hell yeah, get me out of here, and took off
Yeah.
to leave it all to me. Because she was
She
like,
was ready
okay,
to go
yeah, she was like,
do
all
her own
right,
thing.
I did my part, you're up. And
Yep.
so maybe that's the reason why. But I don't know, like I never felt like oh, the middle child. I wasn't Marsha, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this was not a Marsha Brady situation where I was the poor neglected middle sibling who nobody
Yeah.
loved.
The oldest one is this one. The younger one is the cute one. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like I didn't have that mindset. And I always thought that it was cool that I was directly in the middle, had two younger, two older.
Yep.
But I mean, I don't know. Like I feel like it's weird because like I feel like I get a lot put on me, but I don't typically get a lot put on me from like my older siblings. But
Right.
sometimes, like, oh, here's the thing. If you want to come crack it open,
Where?
right over here by the grass.
Oh, like on our farm? Okay, I'll come. It up.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like I feel like being the middle child wasn't really like bad. Like I had the older siblings. I had like I don't know. I liked it.
Yeah, you got to have the experience of like having older siblings who would, treat you like you were, you know. Yeah, yeah, it's cool. I kind of like I never wished for a younger sibling. Um, Probably just because I knew how annoying I was.
Oh, rude! It gave me all of it.
Yeah, it did. What was it?
It was just the same thing as the other one.
No.
The ore and the stone. So I'll go put it in our chest.
No, okay. Um. Oh, when it comes to friends too, though, like you said, I always liked, I loved your friends. Like, that was another thing, is like I had you guys, I had the, older siblings, but then all of your friends treated me like a little sister too.
They did.
Like, especially your friends. Like, well, like,
Mm-hmm.
with Heather, the only friend I really like knew super well of Heather's was Melanie.
Oh, yeah.
Um, I don't really, and even her, like, her and Heather stopped hanging out a lot before I really was much, like, old enough to have, like, a lot of memories, you know?
Right.
Um, with Heidi, Bobby Joe was always stuck around, and she's, like, family.
Yes.
Um, but then with you, like, all of your friends were so cool to me. Like, they never seemed like they had a problem with me being around. Um, where did my axe go?
You
The
have it
heck?
upgrading.
Oh, yeah, duh. Um, they never seemed like they had any issue with me being around. They always were, like, really cool to me. Um, and yeah, and they just, like, I always really liked your friends. And, like, your friends were, like, people that, like, I also looked up to, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tracy's friends, when they were the same friends as your friends, I felt the same way about.
Yeah.
But then Tracy also had friends that I didn't really look up to as much.
Yep. Yeah, because Tracy and I,
Who,
we had some of like the exact same friends and some very different friends. Like my
yeah,
very best friends were my friends, and then
yeah,
Tracy had her own like best friends.
yeah. And
Um,
Tracy's best friends were kind of different
yeah,
than yours. And, like, no offense to her friends, but they just weren't like the
yeah.
kind
Like
of
I
people
love
that I would.
Kristen,
Yeah, oh yeah, I
but
love
Kristen
Kristen.
was
Yeah,
my friend first.
yeah,
So
yeah. Kristen's a very sweet human. Um, but, like, Tracy's friends now are not the people that I like. They're like the people I avoided growing up.
yep,
um,
they're very Trumpy. We'll just say that.
yeah, they're very small town, hick, I guess. um, Misogyny and all. Um, but yeah, it's just, yeah, I don't know. I liked the whole, like, having just a huge group of people to look up to. Um, and none of your friends were like bad influences on me. Like, even if they
Right.
did things that they shouldn't have been doing when they were younger, they never, like, I mean, they never, like, let me see, and they never, like,
Yeah. They would
did
not have
anything
like
in front of
snuck
me
you
that would have
alcohol.
been, yeah, exactly. It was not like whereas Tracy, Tracy did.
Exactly.
Um,
Tracy was very.
but, like, yeah, Tracy had made, like, not made me, but kind of peer pressured me into, like, drinking and smoking with her at age, like, 12.
Yeah,
Like, I was very,
way too
very young.
young. Way too young.
Like, I got drunk for the first time at 12 years old. My son is 10.
Yeah.
Lucas is 11.
My
Like, that's,
child is about to be 12. There's no possible way.
no,
No.
that's absolutely insane. Like, ugh, no. But I did. And yeah, it's just like I had so many different, that was the thing about being the youngest, I think. It's just that I had so many different influences in my life between you guys and all of your friends. Like,
Mm-hmm. Well, and like we had a really big group of friends, but they were good people for like 99% of them.
yeah. And
So,
even the ones that weren't were never bad to me.
right, exactly.
Like, that's the weird thing. Is, like, when it comes to, like, say, the worst of them, like Mike, like Tracy's ex Mike.
Mm-hmm.
He was a terrible person. He was awful. But he was
Terrible.
always so nice to me.
Yeah.
Like, he never ever was mean to me. He never treated me badly. He never,
Yep.
yeah, it
Save
was,
that for Tracy.
yeah, he did. He saved it all for Tracy. Um, but yeah, it's weird. Um,
Yeah, well, and it's funny because still to this day, I can run into people that I was friends with back then that like I'd spent every day with, and they'll still ask me how you're doing.
mhm.
They'll ask about your kids. They'll ask about, or like when I ran into your friend on the beach, and he, right away walked up, and I didn't even recognize him. And he walked up and made sure to introduce himself. Well, not introduce himself, but tell me who he was. And, you know, chat with me for a little bit. And, you know, that's not even like a kid that's not even like Autumn or April or Shannon or even Megan.
Yeah, he was my best friend throughout all of middle school, but not one that was like always around you or anything.
Yeah, it's not like one that spent that much time at our. I mean, he did. Obviously, I know the kid by sight, but like.
Well, he didn't even spend time at our house. We just spent time in town together.
Well, and he would come to my house.
His house. Yeah, and he would come to your house, and I'd babysit his younger siblings and stuff.
Mm-hmm, yeah. But, like, he was talking about how often you guys used to come over and hang out with Matthew.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, like, that's the thing is, like, Holly's friend ran into me after not seeing me for literally, like, a decade at least. Probably longer. And first thing he did was ask about my son. Because he immediately remembered coming to my house and hanging out with my son. So, like, you know.
Well, man, that's really puts into perspective how long I've been friends with these people. Your son's about to be 20.
I know, my son is about to be 20.
And my friends are also like, oh yeah, your baby.
Yeah, he did too. He called him my baby. And I was like, well, he's almost 20. But, you know.
I love it so much. You know what's funny? When I was like talking about your friends, I associate the letter J with you so much.
Yeah, I have a lot of J friends.
All of your friends, like all of my favorite friends of yours growing up, all had names that started with J.
Yep.
Like I loved Jason, James, Jonna, Jennifer, Jasmine, Janet.
Yep.
Joel.
Oh yeah, Joel. Yep, Joel. Yeah. There's a lot of J's in my life, and it's funny too because I always see those like TikToks or whatever that talk about like the most toxic name or like the most toxic like first letter of a name being J, and I'm like, oh, all of my like
friends,
like all of my really good friends like growing up practically were almost all J's.
Yeah, they really were. There was like a small handful of them that were not.
Yeah, but there was a lot of J's in my life.
Yeah. And I don't think that the most toxic names start with J because J is not a toxic person. Yeah. He even literally goes by J.
By J, yeah.
Oh yeah, I got. Oh no, I didn't get anything. He needs a pufferfish. Do we have a pufferfish?
No, but I can catch one.
Where are they?
Ocean.
Why is she friggin' wiggling again? What is happening?
I don't know. Maybe she's having more weird dreams.
Maybe. So funny.
I know. Cracks me up.
Mom, I had a dream. You want to hear it? Yeah. I pooped out a possum and it ate my friend Anya. Oh, okay.
Oh, goodness.
I love it. And then I said, no, you go and time out.
That's so cute.
I love children. But yeah, it was, I feel like our, like, I don't know. And it's also, oh, you know what? I was also really spoiled by you.
Oh yeah, big time.
In particular.
Time. But I
like
was super spoiled by Heather.
Were you?
Yeah, for like when I was younger. Yeah, like she spoiled the crap out of me all the time.
Yeah. Well, see, you did get it. You got spoiled by Heather, and then you got to pass on the spoiling.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I got the best of both worlds because like as I got older, I would be like allowed to, you know, like go drive with Heather when she would go places. But I also got to like, you know, be the little sister and the big sister. I don't know. I definitely got to do both. God, I run out of water so fucking quick. I feel like I need to upgrade my watering can just so that I don't run out of water so damn much.
I wonder if Callie thinks that it's cool that she gets to be the younger and older sister.
I don't know. When she's
I want to
older,
ask her.
We'll have to see if she comes to that conclusion.
Yeah.
She might not think it's as cool now because she's like almost 7, but
yeah. Right now
when
she's
she gets
like,
a little
oh.
bit older, she might have a different opinion.
Yeah. Well, I think it's cool because she gets to like she can play with Augie, and they have like things in common. But same thing with Lyric. She can play with Lyric, and they have things in common.
Right, exactly. Well, and I don't want to get too much into detail about various things with my children because I don't want to like. But there was something that Salem was upset about at one point that him and Matthew used to do all the time that no longer happens. And this was at a point when Salem was struggling with the fact that Matthew, with certain things going on. And I remember Salem was talking about, oh, me and Matthew used to do blah, 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 blah. And Lucas pipes up and was like, well, that sounds like a really fun tradition for you and I to start doing then. And Salem was like, really?
Aww.
Okay. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to actually sob from you two. Like, what are you doing?
No, that's the sweetest thing ever.
I know. Like, are you kidding me? It was so... And, like, Lucas was just so matter of fact, well, looks like that's our tradition now then. And I was like, yes, it is. I'm going to cry.
So, I love it.
Yeah. I'm like... It's very interesting to see. Like... And, like... I had certain things that just me and Heather would do, certain things that just me and Heidi would do, like certain things that me and Tracy would do, certain things with me and you, like,
yeah.
And like, it was interesting being the middle child because like, I could be like more mature, like hanging out with Heather and Heidi and their friends, but also like literally play with like stuffed animals or Barbies or something with you guys. And like, when I was at that,
perfect when, I was just gonna say it's perfect when you're at that age.
Yeah, that age where like you still kind of want to play with like dolls or whatever, but some of your friends don't, so you have to like decide if that's uncool. But when you have little sisters, you can say, oh yeah, my little sister made me play ponies with her, even if you're the one who made your little sister play ponies with you.
Right, exactly.
Your friends don't need to know that there's ponies in your room because you secretly play with them after they go home.
Yeah.
They can think that, you have these things in your room because your little sister insisted on playing with them and she just left them in your room.
Yep.
And it's like,
perfect.
It's a good balance when you're, at that age where you're not, your friends, some of your friends are, getting crushes on boys and, only wanting to talk about hair and makeup, and you're like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
But, or sometimes you do want to do that, and then you have older sisters, but other times you don't want to do it, so then you also have younger sisters. Or brothers, or whatever. And it just, I don't know. I feel like it's
you know what?
a good balance.
I didn't even mention the, one thing about being the youngest sibling that it was not the most fun is that I was the baby, so I was the baby well into adulthood. Like,
she's still the baby.
I'm still the baby. Like I love the protective vibe, but at the same time, like, I feel like it took you guys a really long time to realize that I was an adult.
I still don't believe it.
Yeah, now in my 30s with 3 children, still.
Yeah, sometimes, like, if I stop and think too hard about the fact that you have 3 kids, I'm like, nah. No.
That's okay, me too.
Yeah, right? Seriously, I feel that way about my own children.
Have peace.
But yeah, like, that is definitely a thing, is it's very hard to, like, I don't want to say take you seriously, like the collective you, not necessarily you, like the royal you. But like the youngest siblings, sometimes it's hard to like get out of that mindset that they're just like a dumb kid or like a completely naive teenager because you're so used to them being like the youngest one that suddenly when they're like a full grown adult and on like the same level as you, essentially, you're like, oh shit, like,
yeah, maybe you do know what you're talking
about. We're all on the same playing field. Like, all 5 of us now, we're all level with each other. Like,
and that's another,
like,
the transition from like being the youngest that nobody took seriously, and I just kind of like hung out with you guys, like, you know, by proxy because I was your sister and
Yeah, because you had no
there,
choice. You were there.
to like being an actual like adult with all of you, like, and taken seriously as like an equal. It was weird. It was a weird transition. Like,
Yeah, because
because
it is. It's hard to like wrap your brain around it.
yeah, yeah, but like the fact that like there were times where like you guys were so protective over were so protective over me when you didn't need to be, and I was like, you guys, stop, like, knock it off.
Yeah, it's a hard habit to break. It really is.
Yeah.
Okay, we do not have any room left in any of these damn chests.
And any what?
Oh, our chests, they're all like full. We need to like go through them and start selling stuff and getting rid of stuff. And
Oh yeah, and I never know what to sell. I mean, it's not like we need a lot of like food and stuff still because we're not going down into the mines as much.
right.
But I also don't want to sell all of it, and you know, then when we do want to go in the mines, be like, oh no, we don't have anything.
Right.
But I lost my thought. Hey, hi baby, what's up?
I love you.
I love you too. Yes, I'm still recording. Hey, Callie, do you like being the middle child? Yes, you do.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. And Tony really liked being the middle child. All right, baby, you gotta go lay down because it's like almost 9:30. I'll come in there. I'll come in there and scratch your back soon. Okay? Just go lay down. Sorry. Yeah. I feel like there was something else I wanted to say, but I lost it because.
Do you know what was interesting about? I mean, I guess this goes for just basically having siblings in general, but especially like all sisters, is sharing clothes. Was
Oh yeah.
literally like, because at certain points we were roughly all like around the same sizes as each other, like at various points, and so we literally like could share clothes among all of us.
Yep. That's very true.
And
I used to steal Tracy's clothes, especially, all the time.
yeah, and like when I was in high school and Tracy was in middle school, her and I would literally like share, like basically it was like we both had like double the wardrobe because we could share every single thing, because even though she was a little bit taller than me, I would just wear like taller boots to accommodate that.
Yeah.
And we could literally wear the exact same size for years. And it was so convenient. And like even now, if I need like something to wear for a wedding or like something for whatever, 9 times out of 10, if I say something to Heather, she'll be like, oh, I probably have something you can wear. And I can just run to her house and borrow something. And
yeah, it's very, very good.
that I mean, that doesn't, have anything to do particularly with birth order, but it does have something to do with having 5 or 4 sisters.
It does, but also
it opens up your wardrobe.
You being right in the middle, like, was really helpful for you because I
could
couldn't
go
share
either
clothes
way.
with Heather.
Right, exactly. I could
I couldn't share clothes with Heather or Heidi, but
yeah,
you were Tracy, sure.
Yep, exactly. Like for me, I literally had all 4. Well, maybe not Holly as much, but
yeah, there's an 8-year difference there.
Yeah, but now, as long as we're all roughly the same size, literally all 5 of us could share clothes because we are all adults.
Yeah.
So it's very, which I mean, obviously, I guess that just goes for anybody who has sisters. Once you're all adults, as long as you wear roughly the same size, you can.
Right.
But still, it's always been convenient to have that 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 many options, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and like when you were saying about like also when you were saying about having like different relationships with each of us, ooh, radishes. Um, that was like another thing with me, having four older sisters is like Heather, like yeah, just my relationship with everybody was completely different because Heather was just like she was the oldest, but she was also so much older than me that she was almost like I don't know. She was just like she was fun and she would be silly with me, but she was also just like all but an adult. Like
Yeah.
with by the time I have like memories really, she was an adult who had her own life and it was just like she was this like grown up who I could call my sister and it was kind of cool. You know what I mean? Like
Right, yeah, because
I had
her and Gil
an adult
started
for a
dating
sister.
so young that he literally was like in your life for most of your life.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't remember a time that he wasn't.
Yeah, you don't even remember her other boyfriend.
No, I was 3 when they started dating. I was Lyric's age.
Yeah, which is so crazy to think about.
I know. Um, so like I had like my sister who was fun and silly with me, but she was also like a grown adult and you know, so she treated me like an adult would treat a kid.
Yep.
Um, and then I had Heidi who was like I mean Heidi was like my like rebellious, like almost kind of dangerous seeming sister when I was really little.
Yep.
And then after that, she was
And
like
then she
this like
was like,
mysterious
yeah, because
entity.
she like you were so young when everything happened that it was almost like you really didn't remember Heidi living there full time.
Yeah, like I remember, like I kind of remember but like I just remember her getting in trouble a lot. Like
Mm-hmm.
that was like she I almost feel like cuz like she paid attention to me and she wasn't like mean to me, but
Yeah,
my
but Heidi
main
was kind
memories
of
from her at that age was just
gone.
her getting in trouble a lot and not really being home very
Yeah,
often.
exactly, because she wasn't. She was always out partying and
Yeah, and like she was just like my rebellious sister who was like this just like yeah, like almost when she lived there and after she moved, she was just like this mysterious entity that like came and went
yeah, exactly. She was
and
just
it
kind
wasn't
of a nomad.
yeah, it wasn't until like I moved in with her that I got to like fully really know her very well and like
Yeah, which is so crazy to think about.
yeah,
Like it's
like
very weird how different it was for you versus me because I'm so much closer in age with them. So for
yeah.
me, it was, you know,
Yeah, you got to see them like you
yeah,
got
like
to know them
yeah,
before
like they
any
were
of the
just regular
craziness.
sisters that were, we all grew up together, and we have all the Arizona memories that you have none of,
Yeah, exactly. And
which is
like
so weird to
then
think about. That like we had a whole entire like life in Arizona before you even existed.
yeah. Well, yeah. And like yeah, because and like Heather was graduating around the time I was like starting school. So
Yeah,
she had like an
exactly.
entire life before like yeah. It's weird. And then um yeah, it's weird how much life Heather had before I even existed.
Mm-hmm.
Um and the same amount of life that I had before Matthew existed, in fact.
Yeah, exactly. And it's
Um
weird because that's your nephew, not your sister.
yeah. And then with you, I you were like the one who, kind of raised me. But also, like, I spent so much time with you because you were like my caretaker.
Yep.
So I got to know you really well. I got to know your friends really well. I like was like reliant on you in a lot of ways. Um, and so that was like our dynamic for a really, really long time.
Yep.
Um, and then with, ooh, can we get animals now?
Is the barn done?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, go
I don't
down
know
to the
how much we can get,
to
but
the farm and see how much it costs.
okay. And then with Tracy was like, because Tracy was like, you know, she's closest to my age. She's only 4 years older than me. So when we were like young, Tracy kind of seemed like she wanted really desperately for me to look up to her.
Yeah.
Like she really wanted me to think she was cool. And she would like hang out with me and we would like write songs together and like, let's see, purchase animals. A cow. We could purchase a cow or we could purchase another chicken, but not both. Oh, we could purchase another chicken and a cow.
How much is a cow?
The cow is 1,500 and the chicken is 800.
Okay, we'll only do the cow because I'm doing geodes right now.
Okay.
And I don't want to run out of money for that.
So yeah, then we would, here we go. Oh, what's our animal gonna be named?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Give it a cool name.
Give it what?
Just give it a cool name. I don't really care what it is.
Oh, okay. Why is my caps lock gone? Okay. Mooby. Mooby it is.
What is it?
Mooby.
Maybe?
Mooby.
Oh, Mooby. Okay.
Like movies from Kevin Smith movies. Anyway, we would, but yeah, so and then, like, that kind of just continued on forever. Tracy just, like, wanted me to hang out with her and, like, think she was cool and then wanted me to, like, she, like, really wanted to have an influence on me. Like,
Yeah.
she, tried to teach me how to dance. I remember she was trying to teach me to dance to No Diggity when I was, like, 7 years old.
Yeesh.
It was really bad. I still remember. And then she, like, when she found out, I was 11 years old, and it was the summer after 5th grade, and she found out that me and my friends casually swore when we were just, like, together, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And she freaked out, put on Eminem, and made us, like, sing it for her, because she wanted to hear us swearing. And Autumn was super into it. I thought it was weird, and I was very uncomfortable.
It is weird.
And then, like, after that, it just, like, took off. She was just like, hey, you want to get drunk with me? Hey, you want to smoke some weed with me? Hey, like, I became, like, she was trying to, like, turn me into her, I think, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, like, just the dynamic of having all of your sisters influence you in such completely different ways.
Yeah. Super
It's
weird.
interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thankfully, I was choosy about the influence and how I let it affect me.
Right.
Although not completely, because it's not like I'm a super stable person, but, I try.
Right.
Wow, this was a longer conversation than I expected it to be.
Yeah. Well, because it's like, it's crazy, like I don't even know how to word it, like I guess, like the difference?
No, yeah, it's weird when you really, really, really start to think about, like, the completely different experiences we had growing up with our families. Just, we had the same family, but it was so 100% different.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that I don't think I'll ever fully wrap my head around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely agree there. That's a video that we're gonna do too, where we talk about the completely different, like, way we grew up.
Thank you.
Like, it's insane how different it is.
Yeah.
But that's obviously not one that we're going to do today, but it is one that we are going to do eventually.
Yep, absolutely.
Because it is strange, and no, I don't even really know how to describe it. Like, yeah, anyway, that can wait. We'll do that when we actually do a video about it. But
You know what?
What?
No.
What?
I was gonna say maybe we should do a video about how we viewed each other's like relationships and stuff growing up, but I don't know if that would be a good idea.
I mean, we sort of could, but like, the problem with that is, like, your relationships weren't really something that, like, I mean, pretty much the only one we could talk about is Jay. I mean,
That's true.
maybe Rory a little bit, but that wasn't anything that we really like. I mean, that was, you guys were so young that was just like a cute little, aw, they're adorable, you know?
That's true because I didn't date a lot of people.
Yeah, exactly. So.
And I guess you really didn't either.
No, I didn't. I didn't really date a lot, and
I can only think of 4 people I could really talk about.
yeah, and I feel like basically if we did like a thing like that, it would essentially just be us shit talking all of Tracy's exes. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Yeah.
and like probably like a love story all about Heidi's Nick.
Yeah.
And how much we miss him. And so, you know.
Maybe we shouldn't do that.
Yeah, maybe for the benefit of our other sisters, we shouldn't do that one.
Yeah. But it definitely, I do definitely also think that in the moment, our ages had an effect on how we saw them.
Yeah, oh yeah, I agree there. 100%. So I don't know, maybe we can find a way to make that video work, but you have to go now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. But yeah, that I guess essentially that was Holly being the youngest versus me being the middle child, and kind of how it, I don't know, what we thought of it, I guess.
Yeah, how they differed and how
how they differed
experienced them.
Yeah, exactly. I personally really, really enjoyed being the middle child.
And I really enjoyed being the youngest child.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how our other sisters feel about it. I know that Heather is the only one of us that I've ever heard like complain about the amount of siblings that we grew up with. Like, me and Tracy always talk about how much we loved it.
Yeah. Well, also Heather didn't have to rely on us so much after what happened with Dad. Like, obviously, you know, we had each other for like emotional support because we understood what the other ones were going through. But she was an adult who had her own like
and she had Gil.
Things. Yeah, she had Gil. Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that's kind of different. But yeah.
Yeah, she had such a normal. I would actually really like to hear about her perspective on like being the oldest and growing up with all of us, because think about how different everything was for her. She had Dad through her whole childhood and teenage years until she was an adult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then by the time Dad died, she was an adult out on her own with a relationship that she had been in for a long time.
She wasn't out on her own. She still lived at home, but still.
Well, she was out on her own not long after that, though.
Well, yeah.
But, and like she had the most normal, I think.
Yeah, she
situation.
did. She really did. She had like the most stable.
Because Heidi was like almost an adult, I guess. Like, not, you know, she was a couple years away from being. Yeah, she was a couple years away from being an adult, but also like.
But also not anywhere near where Heather was, because Heather was like graduated from high school, ready to start college, like.
Yeah, and like Heidi had a whole different situation going on that affected her in a whole different, like.
Yeah.
She's got a story all on her own too.
Yeah, she was the super rebellious one.
Yeah. So
yeah.
It's weird. Like I said, we all need to just write a book together someday.
Seriously, that's what I always say. Like, we could be like a reality TV show.
I would think we would be much more entertaining than the Kardashians.
I was
and
gonna
more
say
likable.
we would be like the Kardashians, but like without the
privilege.
Yeah, without the privilege and without the I don't know the word for it.
You know what? I've never watched that show, but like from the clips that I've seen of them and the way that they talk to each other, I actually feel like we could relate to them a lot with their
Yeah,
dynamic.
that's what I'm saying. Like, we could be them, but like poor.
Yeah. Poor with like different trauma.
Yeah, yeah. Although, I mean, dead dad trauma,
Right.
you
Right.
know? So, I mean, but the only difference is some of them have a different father.
Yeah. You know, I know
So,
people don't like the Kardashians, but like the way that like they shit talk each other and like just the way that they're so like straightforward with each other, I
yeah,
think is really
that's
likable.
like, yeah, like, I mean, because that's like with us. Like, there are times where Holly will, like, post something, like, really dramatic and, like, whatever in our group chat, and we'll either, like, make fun of her typo or, like, call her a drama queen, like, before we actually give her, like, the sympathy or advice that she needs. Instead of,
Or like
like, my kids will watch me. Like, they'll watch over my shoulder, like, when I'm responding to one of my sisters, and they'll be like, what is wrong with you?
yeah, or like when Tracy is like Tracy can be going through something like really horrible and traumatic and we'll all be like making jokes about it.
Yeah, we'll be like, oh
Because
wow,
like
sucks to be you. Maybe you shouldn't have, you know, we warned you not to date that guy, or like,
yeah, or like she'll, you know, post like or she'll, you know, she'll like with you and like everything going on with Bob, like
yeah,
it's horrible and it's traumatic, but we all make fun of it all the time and make jokes about it all the time because
exactly, because that's just the way we are.
yeah, because like yeah, we're really sorry that you're going through something, but also like how are you gonna deal with it if you don't laugh about it?
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's just, it's what we do.
Yeah.
Yep. Like, people on Facebook probably think I'm such a dick for some of the things that I say to Tracy.
Oh my god, me too. Like Tracy will post something and like
Yeah,
I'll
and we
tell her
will,
exactly what I'm feeling.
yeah, we will rag on her. Like, she'll
Be
post
like,
and
wow,
like,
this is super toxic.
yeah,
Why the
like
hell did you
people in the
post this?
comments will be like agreeing with her, or like coddling her or whatever, and we'll be like, you suck, that's why.
Yeah. Exactly.
Maybe if you weren't so terrible. You know, like,
Yeah. And you know what? We're not even joking.
yeah, yep. Most of the time, yeah, we're completely serious.
Most of the time we're like, no, yeah, for real. Like this is your fault. This is like don't
Or
cry
like,
about it.
sometimes Holly will like ask about something that like she's super anxious about, like when it comes to her kids, and we'll be like, well, I'm not a spaz, so blah 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 blah, but because it's you, you know, this is what, or I'll say I'm a spaz, but not as much of a spaz as you.
Yeah.
And
You'll be like, wow, that's taking it a little far with your anxiety there.
yeah,
Holly.
exactly. Be like, okay, like I know that you're completely insane, but like breathe still.
Yeah.
I feel like the only person that we can't really do that too much with is we can't do that with Heidi about her weirdo relationship because
Yeah,
she's
she
way
gets
too
really,
sensitive.
like-
And we can't do
Yeah.
that with Heather about Gil because she also gets way too sensitive.
Yeah.
Which you would think after 30 years.
Well, you say that we can't do that about Gil, but I'm never nice about Gil.
No, you're not nice about him, but she gets super defensive still. Like,
Oh yeah. Okay, sure.
like she can't just be like, yeah, he's a dick sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
She has to like make sure that we know.
She'll
that,
usually just gloss over it now.
well, yeah,
whenever-
yeah. Now she will, but for the longest time, it was like she would bend over backwards, and I'm not kidding you guys. She would like do the craziest gymnastics I've ever seen to find a way to make it so that he was technically right about something that he was wrong about, instead of just saying, oh yeah, you know, sometimes my husband's a dick, like
Yeah,
the rest
and
of us
then-
would do.
And then, in true sister who's not gonna coddle you fashion, I ended up going off on her about
Yep.
it.
Yep. She was like, no, sometimes he's just wrong. Like,
Yeah, like you need to learn to stand up for us too. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like, sometimes your husband is just being an asshole. And that's
Yeah.
why, like, even before things got really, really super toxic with my ex-husband, I would, like, overly be like, well, he's a complete asshole. What do you want? You know what I mean? Like, sometimes just to, like, try to, like, help show her, hey, you know, we all get it. Sometimes our husbands are dicks, too. Like,
Yeah.
it's okay to say, yeah, sometimes my husband's just not being a nice guy. Like, it doesn't mean that he's the worst person in the world and we all hate him. It just means that sometimes people
it almost feels like...
Get off my counter. I just told Heather that you didn't do that stuff. Get down. Come on. Sorry.
Are you talking to Salem? I'm just kidding.
Yes, I'm talking to my child.
Yeah, but like, when... well, yeah, and that's the thing, though, is like, I feel like they almost have it in their minds that, like, if they admit that their husband or boyfriend or whatever is flawed, we're all going to be like, well, you need to dump him. But that's, like, not how it is.
Literally, like, my husband did meth for 3 years, and you guys weren't like, you need to break up with them right now.
Yeah, we were like, well, I hope that you can work through this awful process of with whatever you need to do.
Right, exactly. Like, none of us are going to be like, wow, Gil was being a dick yesterday. I can't believe you're still with him.
And the thing is like, I would never encourage Heather and Gil to break up.
No, they've been together for over 30 years.
Yeah, their relationship, like, they've been together that long. There's got to be some strength to their relationship. They have a, decent dynamic with each other that I've always seen. Like,
yeah.
Just because I don't love, your husband, well, I love him, but just because I don't always like your husband and everything that, he does, doesn't mean that I'm going to be like, you have to stop being with him.
Yeah, like, exactly. And I mean, obviously, yes, sometimes he is wrong. Like, everyone is wrong sometimes.
Yeah.
But, man, like, and that's another thing with, like the five of us is, like, Tracy has never been shy about telling us when her boyfriend is being an asshole. Like, she will call me up. Like, she called me up today and she was like, you're not going to believe what Chris did, and just went off for like 10 minutes. And it wasn't anything major. At the end of it, I wasn't like, wow, dump that guy. I was like, yep, that would piss me off too. Guys are stupid. It was something like something needed to be vacuumed, and instead of just vacuuming it, he like bitched to her that it hadn't been vacuumed yet, and she was like, cool, are your arms broken? Vacuum it. And I laughed and was like, yep, that's really dumb. Like, suddenly guys get a girlfriend and forget how to use household appliances. Yeah. And we were joking around about it, and that was it. Like, I'm not gonna, next time I go to their house, I'm not gonna be like, I can't stand that guy. He did not vacuum the other day.
Well, and that's the thing. Well, that'd be really funny. Well, but that's like the thing that I don't understand, when people will be like, well, I have to like be careful how I say this to like or like I was trying to like word this in the nicest way possible to like, I'm like, why? They're your sibling. Yeah. Just be like Sam, when she's talking about like her brother, like he's like super Trumpy and dumb. Yeah, he's like really dumb. But she'd be like, I don't want to like start conflict, so I don't like say anything about it. I just kind of keep my mouth shut. I'm like, why? He's your brother. Just tell him he sounds fucking stupid and tell him why.
Right, exactly.
Like, but like, they don't have that relationship.
I know, and like it's weird. And like, I get it. Some people just aren't close with their siblings, but like, I could not imagine not be. And like I said, even though Heidi and Heather get like shifty and weird, like if we say anything about their significant others, we still will.
Yeah. Like, yeah, and it's not like it doesn't change anything.
Yeah, exactly. But that's like, remember when Tracy said something, I can't remember, there was something that her best friend was doing that we were like, why are you not telling her that this is terrible? And she's like, I can't tell her that. She's my best friend. That's not how you talk to your best friend. I have to tell her that what she's doing is great and that I love. And I was like, no. Like, if I couldn't look at my best friend and be like, for instance, my best friend called me up a week or so ago, because she had just given her daughter some advice. Her daughter's a grown adult. She had given her some advice, and then she started to kind of second guess it, and she was like, okay, so I told her this, this, and this. Was that the right advice? And I was like, honestly, maybe not. Like, devil's advocate here, but this, and her and I talked for like 25 minutes about whether or not her advice was, and I mean, it wasn't terrible advice, but it was like, if you look at it
a
from
little
this,
flawed, it could have been.
Yeah, like, because it was to do with like in-laws and like do you let your husband handle an issue with the in-laws, or do you jump in? And I was like, we kind of like bounced the stuff back and forth off of each other, and she was not offended. She literally called me to ask me, if I thought, and if I would have just been like, yeah, that was perfect advice. It wasn't perfect advice. Like, it wasn't the worst advice, but, like, there's no point that one of my best friends could call me up and ask me if I think that they're right about something, and I'm going to be like, absolutely, if they're not. Because,
Like,
how is that your best friend?
that's like when she'll say that she's, I will be there in a minute, baby. I'm wrapping it up. I know, I'm sorry. But that's like when she'll be like, well, I don't talk about, like, politics with, because, you know, she's got different politics or whatever
Yeah.
with my friends, and I'm like, but then they're not very good friends, because if you can't, like, discuss things about life with them, then, like, it's just like surface level friendship.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's the thing with Tracy, is she doesn't really form super deep friendships. It's all surface level. That's why she can, like, have a different best friend every few years.
Yeah.
So,
Which,
but,
if that's how she's happy, then whatever for
yeah,
her.
I mean,
but
yeah, I mean, some people are just like that. But with me, you, pretty much all the rest of us, the rest of our best friends are like, we're lifers. So,
yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
But yeah, so
But yeah,
that's
so anyway, yeah, that was having siblings. Holly and I could probably talk for like 16 videos just about siblings and
yeah.
our sisters and all of that. But maybe we will
We'll
at
do
some
some
point
more
do more
later.
videos
Yeah.
about it.
Exactly.
But I will let you go snuggle your child.
Okay.
All right.
All
I
right.
will talk to you probably tomorrow. Are we recording tomorrow?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Thank you guys for watching this video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Holly and I, both of our socials are in the description. Just let me know what you think. Let me know if you like these longer videos where we just talk and talk and talk. I hope so, because I don't know how to edit, so they're long. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.